Need analysis in materials development. Materials development involves the creation, selection, and optimization of materials for specific applications. Performing a needs analysis is crucial in this process to ensure that the developed materials meet the requirements and expectations of end users. Here's a structured approach to conducting a needs analysis in materials development. Define objectives and scope. Clearly outline the goals of the materials development project. Determine the scope of the project, including the intended application, performance requirements, target market, and any specific constraints or limitations. Identify stakeholders. Identify all stakeholders involved in or affected by the materials development project. This may include researchers, engineers, manufacturers, end users, regulatory bodies, and other relevant parties. Gather requirements. Collect input from stakeholders to understand their needs, preferences, and priorities regarding the materials to be developed. This can be done through surveys, interviews, focus groups, market research, and consultation meetings. Analyze existing solutions. Review existing materials and technologies that are currently used or available for the intended application. Identify their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT analysis, to inform the development process. Identify gaps and opportunities. Compare the gathered requirements with existing solutions to identify any gaps or areas for improvement. Look for opportunities to innovate or introduce novel materials that address unmet needs or offer significant advantages over existing options. Consider environmental and regulatory factors. Assess environmental impact considerations, such as sustainability, recyclability, and eco-friendliness, as well as regulatory requirements and standards that may apply to the developed materials. Evaluate technological feasibility. Evaluate the technical feasibility of developing materials that meet the identified requirements. Consider factors such as material properties, fabrication processes, scalability, cost-effectiveness, and compatibility with existing infrastructure. Prioritize requirements. Prioritize the identified requirements based on their importance and feasibility. Determine which requirements are critical for success and which ones are nice to have but not essential. Set performance metrics. Establish clear and measurable performance metrics to evaluate the effectiveness of the developed materials. This may include parameters such as mechanical strength, durability, thermal conductivity, electrical conductivity, chemical resistance, etc. Document findings and recommendations. Document the results of the needs analysis, including stakeholder feedback, requirements, gaps, opportunities, and prioritized criteria. Use this information to guide the subsequent stages of materials development, such as material selection, formulation, synthesis, testing, and optimization. By following these steps, you can conduct a comprehensive needs analysis to inform the materials development process and ensure that the resulting materials meet the needs and expectations of stakeholders. Example: need analysis of English learning materials for medical students. Let's go through the steps outlined above in the context of a needs analysis for English learning materials tailored for medical students. Define objectives and scope. Objective: develop English learning materials specifically designed to meet the needs of medical students. Scope: focus on language skills relevant to medical practice, such as medical terminology, patient communication, writing medical reports, and understanding medical literature. Identify stakeholders. Medical students, English language instructors, medical faculty and educators, healthcare professionals, curriculum developers, or publishers. Gather requirements. Conduct surveys and interviews with medical students to understand their English language proficiency levels, learning preferences, and specific language needs in a medical context. Consult with English language instructors to identify the linguistic challenges commonly faced by medical students and to gather insights on effective teaching methods and materials. Engage medical faculty and healthcare professionals to determine the language skills required for effective communication in medical settings. Analyze existing solutions. Review existing English language learning materials tailored for medical professionals or students. Assess their coverage of medical terminology, communication skills, and other relevant content. Identify any shortcomings or areas for improvement in existing materials. Identify gaps and opportunities. Identify specific language skills that are essential for medical practice but may not be adequately covered in existing materials. Explore opportunities to integrate authentic medical content, such as case studies, patient interviews, and medical journals, into language learning materials. Consider incorporating interactive exercises and simulations to practice communication skills in realistic medical scenarios. Consider environmental and regulatory factors. Ensure that the developed materials align with relevant educational standards and accreditation requirements for medical programs. Consider the cultural and linguistic diversity of medical student populations, especially in international medical schools. Evaluate technological feasibility. Assess the feasibility of incorporating multimedia elements, interactive features, and online platforms into the English learning materials to enhance engagement and accessibility. Explore the use of language learning apps, virtual reality simulations, and other digital tools to supplement traditional learning materials. Prioritize requirements. Prioritize language skills and competencies based on their importance for medical practice and the level of proficiency required. Give special attention to skills such as medical vocabulary acquisition, patient communication, writing medical reports, and interpreting medical literature. Set performance metrics. Define measurable objectives for language proficiency improvement, such as achieving a certain level of proficiency on standardized language tests or demonstrating competency in specific communication tasks. Document findings and recommendations. Compile the results of the needs analysis, including stakeholder feedback, identified requirements, prioritized language skills, and recommendations for the development of English learning materials for medical students. Use this information to guide the design, development, and evaluation of the materials, ensuring that they effectively address the identified needs and preferences of medical students and other stakeholders. This needs analysis provides a structured approach to understanding the requirements and expectations for English learning materials tailored to the unique needs of medical students, ensuring that the developed materials are relevant, effective, and engaging for their intended audience.